Ministry of Technology and Science Director for Vocational Education and Training, who is also chairperson for the Skills Advisory Group on Water Supply and Sanitation, the SAG, alongside the head of the SAG Secretariat, help us to understand what the Skills Advisory Group on Water Supply and Sanitation is all about, its objectives and activities.
The Water and Sanitation SAG was specifically created in 2020, about 2020. It's about 4 years old. The objective was to have a focus. A focus on what? On skills that relate to sanitation, water supply. And that has been our focus in terms of skills. To focus on matters related to water development, sanitation development, water supply systems or water operation systems. That has been the objective of the Skills Advisory Group on Water and Sanitation.
The Skills Advisory Group is a group of experts from different facets. It comprises of regulators, associations, cooperating partners, utility companies, as well as training providers. So basically that is what the group comprises of, and each of these come with a contribution towards what can be done on issues of skills development.
Why is skills development in the water supply and sanitation sector?
The water supply and sanitation sector is one of those sectors that evolves very quickly. But other than that, over the years we realized that most of the skills specifically to water supply and sanitation were not getting the interest from the point of view of the training institutions.
When we have received our graduates from various institutions, universities inclusive, they are mostly theory-based, and you have to spend an extra amount of time to try and expose our scholars to practice. This does cost the company a little, because when you get employed, the expectation is that you start contributing almost immediately with a little bit of just being exposed, taken through by the people that you have found.
So the two aspects, the issues of emerging issues when the sector is evolving quickly, but also the fact that historically we've had a gap in terms of the skills for water supply and sanitation. And these skills we're talking about are skills from the TVET point of view. So we are not focusing so much on the professionals like engineers and things like that. We want the operatives, the ones that will do the work, like plumbers, water operators, and so on and so forth. So that aspect actually is what led us to create the Skills Advisory Group, simply to try and bridge the gap between what the industry is expecting and what the training institutions are actually bringing out.
In trying to address the skills gap, some vocational education and training institutions across the country have started to respond in line with the efforts of the Skills Advisory Group on Water Supply and Sanitation.
As a Lusaka Business and Technical College, one of the courses we are highly involved in training is the water sector. So we were actually the pioneers of the water and sanitation course here, known as WOOPS. That is for up to diploma level, currently starting diploma level. So because of that, we as a college were part of the sector advisory group in the water sector.
Formal skills training is a very important area of focus, especially if the identified gaps in the sector have to be addressed for better service delivery now and in the future.
The students spend some time, I'll give an example, 6 weeks in class, they learn the theories, and then another 6 weeks in the industry, basically to observe the way things are done. The way this is helping is that there are some things that are in the curriculum that may no longer be applicable because they may be outdated. And also there are things that are expected to be done in the industry and they are not in the curriculum. So the students come and observe things that we are doing, especially new technologies. In this case specifically, there are issues to do with telemetry as an example, where you are able to manage infrastructure from a distance. But also there are other technologies that we are using, it being in the digital world, where the students really get exposed to, which are not taught in class. So the way it is helping is it's bridging the gap between what is taught in class and how things are expected to be done in the industry.
We have a number of initiatives that we are undertaking to promote skills development in the sector. One of them is obviously to try and review curricula with our colleagues from the training side of things. So we want to make sure that the curricula that they're following as they are training these graduates is responding to what the sector needs and is also able to quickly be revised to catch up with the new trends in the sector. So we've worked with the institutions that are mandated to actually revise curricula, like TVETA, the Ministry of Technology and Science, to see how that can be done. And we have actually revised a few curricula and also developed some new ones.
TVET colleges such as the Lusaka Business and Technical College, Master Trades, Mwese Trades, the Natural Resource Development College, among others, now offer specialized trainings around water supply and operations, which may include plumbing, fittings, and engineering in general.
You may realize that these are some of the few colleges that provide water and sanitation training. Some of them do not provide, they have specialized in other disciplines.
There are many activities that the Skills Advisory Group on Water Supply and Sanitation is working around since it was established in 2020. Since the activities commenced, the Skills Advisory Group on Water Supply and Sanitation has undertaken a number of activities as shall be shared. In a true spirit of catch them young and see them grow, the Skills Advisory Group on Water Supply and Sanitation in its programming has targeted girls in high schools.
We invite the girl child, so we invite a lot of schools who bring their children to be exposed to what Lusaka Water Supply and Sanitation does. So we make presentations to them in trying to encourage them to take up technical subjects, to try and take up technical careers, basically trying to explain the different types of engineering and how they are applied in Lusaka Water. And then thereafter, we also try to expose them to hands-on experience of how things are done.
When we got there at Waterworks, they taught us how water is pumped from the undergrounds, how it gets into the reservoir, how it is treated, how it is supplied to various parts of Lusaka, and how they ensure that we all have equal amount of water in various areas.
For Lusaka, the event was dubbed the Girls Takeover Wash.
We have initiatives like the Girls Takeover, where we try to expose young girls to what the water supply and sanitation sector is all about. They take over a few activities, just to have a few, and with that we think that we can encourage them to pursue courses related to water supply and sanitation when they are done with their studies.
For the girls, getting to the event brought a lot of curiosity, especially around the sector they were being oriented to.
I just received the information that we are going to take part in the skills development program in WASH. I was very curious about it, because I wanted to know what it really was.
The experience which I had when I went there, it was just beautiful for me. I can say before I went there, immediately I received the news. I was very eager to go there. With a beautiful time with people there, it was wonderful.
The girls see what they have learned in class now being put into practice. So it's quite an exciting day, and then the biggest thing that we see is that the girls now become more ready to take up the technical careers, and it is encouraging because we are trying to bridge the gap between the male child and the female child.
The Girls Takeover Wash event had immediate results. For the teaching staff, the activity did not only impact positively on the girls, but it is already shaping some of their choices of future careers.
When we're there, you find that they got excited. They got to learn. They got to ask a lot of questions. I didn't know there was water engineering. And so they begin asking questions like, how many types of engineering do we have, And so you begin explaining some of those things. Then they also look at, for example, they want to visit Golf View Hotel, where they have to meet these other professionals, different women. So you see they're giving their views. So it's quite an event that needs to be actually continued. We need such events so that the learners can actually have mentors. They can have someone to look up to.
Away from the Girls Takeover event, the Skills Advisory Group on Water Supply and Sanitation is also motivating female students to pursue technical-focused trainings in the water supply and operations sector. For Purity Musukwa, a second-year plumbing and fitting student at the Lusaka Vocational Education Training, DVET, accessing financial support towards her tuition fees was very welcome.
I felt extremely happy, and I would rather say I'm very grateful for the numerous financial contributions that you've done for my tuition fees. It helped my parents in terms of financial challenges which they were facing.
Accessing support towards the tuition fees was not from without. It is because of her hard work.
I studied extra hard.
Support to the girls in the sector is further being pursued by government as it helps in making them more empowered.
We've also been focused on promoting the girl child because the girl child has been left out of engineering-related programs.
At the Lusaka Business and Technical College, female students were also awarded for best performance.
What the award does is that it not only gives the one that is graduating leaving, it will also pick on the best performing student in the first year. And the current programs that we are running will run up to 2 years. So to pick the best performing student first year and they'll pay for that student's term fees to help encourage them. So this has created a lot of competition even amongst the ladies. As a college, we've just opened and we are currently doing enrollments for water operations, which are still running, and we've seen that the students that are taking interest now is that we are almost hitting 50-50 under the water sector because women have taken an interest. So these initiatives have brought to light that these courses are possible, and it has awakened a number of people.
The internship and mentorship programs, facilitated through the collaboration between the learning institutions and industry, have impacted on the recipients differently.
Entering this industry, we were actually told that it's not everyone, considering that you're a woman, it's not everyone who's going to like you, it's not everyone who's going to accept you. Yeah, and for sure, when we started, some guys would be like, we can't work with a woman. And we started from Stuart Park, and the only lady who was there was the MD. The rest of the workers were men. Yeah, so the internship really helped because they showed us like what we're supposed to do, how we're supposed to go about in this industry. And considering the school where we came from, we didn't do much of practical. There was most of the theory work. So that's when we got to see the real work now in the industry through the internship. We didn't know how certain things work in a plant. So after we got into the industry through the internship from NOSCO, that's when we got to see that, oh, this works like this, that works like that.
Everything we used to learn about water treatment and sanitation was all in books, diagrams. It was very comprehensive learning back in school, but it was all in diagrams. When I went for the internship, I got to see those diagrams, those steps, those processes in real life. And it was not just about seeing them, but it was taking part into managing those systems. So I got to learn what it actually takes to obtain water, to treat it, and then to distribute to the users. I also learned what it takes to move our sanitary or sanitation waste from the homes, from the industries, to be treated before being disposed of.
I was in the office, so I did office work. I learned about non-revenue water, which is a serious issue in commercial utilities. Yeah, and about computing the water demand for a particular community. Yes, and also site operations, as I mentioned, but the nature of civil engineering in the utility, specifically for the Kawata branch where I was working from, where I was interning from, is that we do office work, which is computing non-revenue water. Non-revenue water is the water that's lost or the water that's unaccounted for. Yeah. Revenue water is the water that's built. So non-revenue water is unbuilt. Yeah, so we would spend time actually trying to solve issues to do with non-revenue water as engineers in the commercial utility.
It is clear, through various internship programs, results are being achieved in the short to medium term.
The way I'm applying what I learned during the internship, which was 3 months, we moved in a different station. So we're able to know almost how each and every plant works. So with that knowledge, I'm able to apply it here. I'm able to take out the readings. I'm able to measure chlorine residue. I'm able to chlorinate the water in the tower and all those things.
So one of the things that I really liked about the mentorship program was that we were taught to communicate. That's one of the first things I really picked up, and one of the first things we were taught. So communication was taught to us as something very key in the industry. You can't work without communicating. So we were really taught to be professional communicators, to present ourselves very well in the working industry. Also, a technical aspect of it was really important. Before we even started working, we were given insights into what we were expecting to find in the water and sanitation industry. So that was really helpful.
I'm able to help resolve some of the challenges that are in the water sector. I have ideas on how to resolve certain problems, like with water issues. For example, water scarcity. I noticed that one of the branches I was attached to, which was the Kablonga branch, apart from Kawata, they have a lot of water issues. I'm able to now establish some of the challenges that could be causing water scarcity or depletion of water, and also be able to conserve water resources.
Want to expose the learners, the graduates, to what industry actually entails. Because what we realized was that that gap that is there between what they are taught in schools and what is happening in industry still exists. So they need to now get the practical side of what they have been taught.
The efforts on promoting skills cannot be complete without mentioning yet another complementary but innovative activity. It is the Skills Day.
The Skills Day was a display of those skills between industry and ourselves. So it created a competition. We actually did come up with a competition in liaison with Lusaka Water and ourselves. Apart from Lusaka Business and Technical College, Mansa also was one of the other colleges, and Lusaka Vocational Technical College was also part of the college that represented students' platform.
I was privileged as Lusaka Water an employee, actually as the whole team, because we emerged as the victorious winner over the event. So what happened that day, I was so happy that we learned a lot of multiple skills.
As trainers, we picked students that we felt could showcase what we are teaching them. And as industry, they also picked the best that they thought these people perform well when they go out to perform their jobs. And we gave them a surprise assignment to say, we want you to come up with this within a specified time. And it brought together a lot of happiness and a lot of initiative.
The Skills Day brought together those practicing in industry and those getting their knowledge in class.
I benefited a lot from the event in that it has bridged the gap of knowledge, and I had to gain a lot of experience
The experience was mutually benefiting, with the prospective end winner being improved quality of water supply and sanitation, especially for the future. The activities of the Skills Advisory Group on Water Supply and Sanitation are continuously taking shape and also steadfast on the part of the stakeholders with an interest on skills development. Their resolve is to continue to promote skills development in the water supply and sanitation sector in Zambia.
The Skills Advisory Group initiative is a very good one, and I think that if we continued on this trajectory, the future of skills development, particularly in the water supply and sanitation sector, would be very bright. We are hoping that partners would come in to support this initiative, because what we've seen from the activities that we have undertaken is that there's a very positive feedback that we're getting. So we think that if this initiative is scaled up and that it's adopted at national level, then the future of skills development will be very bright.
This program, like we have alluded to earlier, is extremely promising, bringing new students that are a little bit more trained, almost ready to learn running. So I think the biggest thing that would be an appeal to other industries to support this program, so that it is successful and it can be a very good way of training our students henceforth.
If you go to water, you can see that we're still mechanical, especially in the third world. We're still mechanical because we have to pump water from the dam, from a borehole, from a lake, from a river, okay? But in all these, you need skills. Skills at pumping level, skills at transportation level, skills at treatment level, skills at supply level, skills at distribution level. All in all, I think going into the future, we're looking for skills that are best